Bisa jadi merujuk.
So, hi everyone, welcome. My name is Tita, and I'd like to welcome you to Bandung, our city in West Java, Indonesia. We're happy to take part in Fusion 3, where we can travel from one city to another, learning about each other, marveling the vibrance and diversities of culture and creativity that often spark inspirations and drive innovation. For the next hour, Indonesia Creative Cities Network, Bandung Creative City Forum, British Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia, and British Council will bring us through discussions and various expressions concerning leadership in sustainability, urban lives, environmental qualities, creative city, and many more. The most exciting part would be the footages of Hutan Menyala or Glowing Forest, where Sembilan Matahari, a Bandung-based design, film, and video mapping company, turns Bandung's Djuanda city forest into an enchanted land using advanced technology and compelling narratives that deliver a message about the balance between built environment and natural ecosystem. Next to showing that embracing technology doesn't have to mean contradicting nature, Glowing Forest offers a prototype of a post-pandemic destination where leisure and entertainment activities can actually be conducted safely without compromising on comfort and fun, of course. One more thing, this installation is not open yet for public, so we actually have the privilege to have a sneak peek today. We're also going to have an interaction session where you as audience are able to play along in an edition board using a Jamboard, which link we will provide soon. And we are eager to have your participation here. So with great pleasure, we'll begin our adventure. Enjoy. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to everybody. My name is Chris Wren. I'm the Executive Director of the British Chamber of Commerce here in Indonesia. A very warm welcome to people who are taking a look at what's going on here from outside of Indonesia. I'm stepping in actually for our ambassador, Owen Jenkins, who sincerely offers his apologies, but really unable to free up time within a schedule that has some critical projects on the go at the moment. He did say this is something that he did want to be a part of and certainly hopes to be invited and hopes to participate in the future. Thank you very much to Fusion 3 and our partners, ICCN. It's a pleasure for us to be taking on a coordinating role within this particular hour. I'll keep this introduction very brief as there's so much fantastic content, including some highly experienced private sector BritCham contributors. The truth is, Indonesia does face a serious challenge around the climate change issues, significantly because of a couple of things. One is a lack of awareness, and also the knowledge and skills to mitigate climate change risks. So what does an organization like BritCham do facing this type of thing? Firstly, just a quick reminder of what the British Chamber of Commerce is in Indonesia. We're a membership organization. We have 260 plus members represented by a community of around 1,000. As well as the traditional membership unit, we provide market access support to British SMEs that are taking a look at embarking on a journey of trade with Indonesia. We also have a newly established Human Capital and Education Center as well, which is providing an holistic approach to support Indonesians in their search for the right institution over in the UK. We have 3 focus groups that we have established recently, and they are smart cities, human capital and education, and the climate change focus group. And the first 2, clearly, there's a lot of overlap, very, very cross-sectoral with climate change sustainability issues. These focus groups and the Chamber as a whole work with all stakeholders. We mentioned the British Embassy and their units, also on here, Hugh Muffet of the British Council. But also we've been working with provinces in Indonesia, and including with Governor Ridwan Kamil, who will be saying a few words shortly. We've been working with Bandung on their challenge with respect to plastic waste to energy. In addition, our groups have been working with the Ministry of Environment, Tourism, Ministry of Finance, and Agrarian Affairs as well. We'll continue to intensify in our build-up to COP26, including showcasing all the wonderful things that the BritCham members are doing on their road to net zero. With that, it's been a pleasure to make these opening remarks. I thank everybody for giving up their time today, and a big congratulations to the creative teams that have put together this hour. Sit back, enjoy, but please take note. Thank you.
Good evening, Excellencies, guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ridwan Kamil, Governor of West Java. Welcome to West Java, home of 50 million people. And Bandung is the capital city of West Java. I used to be the city mayor of Bandung, and now governor of 27 cities and regencies called West Java. Ladies and gentlemen, I really welcome the event of Fusion Cities organized by the UK government to connect with cities all over the world. And especially I would like to thank you for choosing Bandung as a representative of the creative cities in Indonesia to connect in this event. My highest regard to the Ambassador of UK to Indonesia, and also British Council and British Chambers of Commerce, who sponsor and organize this with ICCN, Indonesia Creative City Network, to give an example, to inspire the young generation what would the future will be within our new economy, new creative paradigm, and also the post-COVID Indonesia or post-COVID world. In this regard, I would like to extend the strength of our young generation. Inshallah, they will survive after COVID and become a very strong new generation that adjust and adapt to the new way of life in post-COVID era. We are committed to support young generation, especially in West Java. We are committed building creative centers in 27 cities. 2 weeks ago, I opened the creative center in Bogor and many more in total for 27 cities, because we believe investing in young generation will invest also the good future for our cities. Bandung, the capital city of West Java, when I was a city mayor, we were selected as a UNESCO Creative City Network because of the strength and generation in the creativity of design. I was an architect myself, so during that time I designed many places, around 40 projects I finished during my time as a mayor, and we would like to create Bandung as a livable city, sustainable city, fusion city, and also creating what we call happiness index, because we believe the good city is a city for all. Therefore, when we see kids, elderly, disabled can use freely in the city, now we know that the city is for all. Happiness is also very important regardless our economic background. Therefore, designing public places, designing social support, connecting the digital era into a positive mindset is also becoming our goal in the city of Bandung. We have these projects located now in our forest called Hutan Raya Djuanda, where you have this hutan menyala or glowing forest. Is an example of video mapping into the nature, so we can create a new way to appreciate visual culture, not in the form of silver screen or a wall of building, but in the form of trees, in the form of leaves, and creating a sensation of creativity can also preserve and send a message through the nature. And we hope this is the spirit, the essence of Bandung. We would like to continue our creativity, we would like to continue our survival, we would like to continue our network with the global cities. And again, UK government proved to be the #1 supporter of this creative movement. And I'm very happy before we started our creative city in Bandung. Now with ICCN, it is expanded into 200 cities all over Indonesia with Pak Vicky Satari as the president. So that is my spirit. Once again, congratulations for the event. I wish you all the best and success for the event. And please keep Bandung as part of Global City Network for better future in the post-COVID era. Thank you very much. Atur nuhun. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeffrey Chatelier, and I'm the CEO of Forest Carbon, a company that specializes in forest restoration in Indonesia. I was really excited to have the invitation today because I was a Fulbright scholar at the Institute of Technology Bandung back in 2010. Next slide. In 2016, Forest Carbon and its partner, PT Global Alam Lestari, launched the Sumatra Marang peatland project, which is restoring 23,000 hectares of forest area in South Sumatra. At the start of the project, the area had roughly just 1% forest cover due to extensive fires and illegal logging in prior years. Next slide. After 5 years of intensive forest restoration activities, now 22% of the project area has closed canopy forest cover. We expect these figures to rise drastically in the coming years. With the habitat being restored, we are now seeing Sumatran tigers, gibbons, sun bears returning, showing that our restoration efforts are working. We achieve this with 3 core restoration activities. Next slide. The first is through hydrology management by raising the water levels in this peatland forest with the construction of 199 peat compaction dams, which block canals that were once used to extract logs from illegal logging. These canals also drain the peatland, putting it at a high risk of burning. Next slide. The second is our forest restoration plan, where we have planted thousands of seedlings and will continue to do so for the years coming. Next slide. The third is forest patrols and monitoring. We have over 41 field staff from local communities working to monitor and protect the forest. We also use technology such as water level sensors, infrared fire detection cameras, and satellites to monitor for fire risk. Next slide. As a result of our restoration approach, we have successfully prevented fire in our concession area since 2016, including the 2019 El Nino drought, which led to hundreds of fires in the surrounding area, which you can see in this map as the orange and red dots. Next slide. Despite the challenges of COVID-19, 2020 was another successful year without fire, showing that our approach to restoration is working. We have seen that forest protection and restoration is a viable business in Indonesia that creates benefits for local economies and communities and can be replicated in regions like West Java. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. And first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Jeffrey. That's very inspirational, my friend. I thought I would just start by way of introduction to say why I'm so interested in sustainability leadership, and then to dedicate this session to a particular species. So I'm a member, my wife and I have been members of the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds for many years. And wherever we've lived in the world, we've always sought to look after, local species. So I'd like to dedicate this session to the Javan hawk eagle. And you probably know the shadow. So my interest in sustainability leadership is deeply felt and particularly targeted at restoring forests, which then restores bird life. Next slide, please, Gasti. Now, look, we've got a huge leadership challenge ahead of us in terms of sustainability leadership, and there are many forces at play, and I'm going to touch on one particular force later. But the greatest challenge we have across the world, not just in Bandung, but across the world, is how do we continue to grow businesses? How do we continue to raise standards of living for our friends and families and colleagues? How do we do both those things whilst also restoring and regenerating the ecosystem, the biodiversity, and the planet at large? So there's a number of elements to this, and I've put the main ones in the center there. And increasingly, companies are also going to be audited on these four factors as well. So company operations in the future, I think, will have to address the cultural context of the leadership, the impact on the environment, the impact on social mobility, and whether we're helping everyone in our countries to become the best they can be, and also elements of ethical leadership and governance to make sure that we are balancing these factors when we're making investment decisions. You see, it's good to make profit, and businesses need to make profit to continue. But do they need to make as much profit? I mean, how about if some of that profit was put into, for example, R&D around renewable technologies, or put into planting forests, etc., etc. So the challenge is going to be how to do these things in parallel, and that's probably a challenge for a generation, at least one generation, so that we can look after the planet, people, prosperity, and profit, but do it in a way that that sustains both leadership and ourselves and our lives. Next slide, please, Asti. The problem we have is that we all have different values. We all have different personal values, or different mindsets or approaches to the way we see the world. And this is some of my global research with managers. But for managers, you can just think about people in general, because business managers are people after all. And if you can see these 6 circles, I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but if you can just see these 6 circles, these are 6 different personal values that we all hold. But the thing is, we hold them with different degrees of strength. And that affects the way we look at business. It affects the way we look at ourselves. It affects the way we look at society. And most importantly, it affects our actions, our decision-making, who we invest in, what we invest in, who we work with. So these are very powerful forces that we all hold. And at the moment, there's a little bit of a battle going on. Asti, next slide, please. So the battle we have going on at the moment in people, and particularly in in my generation, is we're still striving for a lot of these things that you see on this slide. You know, we're still striving for more stuff, more material possessions, more choice, more consumer choice. We're still trying to concentrate on just our own personal ends and not really thinking about other people. We're trying to control the environment to suit ourselves. So there's quite a lot of us out there, I'm afraid, who don't particularly value sustainability leadership, because their leadership is driven more to appeal to their own self-interest. So this is a huge thing that we have to try and overcome. The problem is that not everyone can change their values. And as you'll see from the next slide, this is what we need more of. We need more people, particularly in positions of power and influence, to share some of these, what I call world citizen personal values. And again, by looking at some of the words in the boxes, you'll get a feel for what I mean by this. Sensitive, one planet, sensitive to the human impact on the earth, tolerant of different cultures, fitting yourself into nature, not seeing ourselves apart from nature, but being part of nature, not apart from, part of. And these precious values, particularly if we can inculcate them and bring them out in our younger people, hopefully the next generation of leadership will play to these values when they start thinking about their own leadership. The trick, of course, it's not a trick really, but the influence is that people with these values have got to try and persuade people with the previous set of values that there's something in it for them. Because otherwise, why should they go on this journey with us towards sustainability? So we have to find ways to connect with people that share different values from us. And we have to do that through communication, through relationships, through knowledge sharing. But we must try and draw out as much of this world citizenship, personal values and behavior that we can. If the Javan hawk eagle is going to continue to survive in the forests around Bandung and elsewhere in Java. Last slide, please. Now, look, the good news is there are plenty of people that are on the same journey as us. And I don't know whether you'd heard of this organization. You'll all have heard of the UN, but I came across this Champions of the Earth. It's like a club, really. And it's worth checking out. It's worth checking out on Google. But even more so, it's worth thinking about perhaps working towards trying to get an award. They have various types of different awards. And you can see there's policy leadership here. There are individual changes that people make. Jeffrey's example would be a good one there. Entrepreneurial vision, people that are building businesses with sustainability built into all their processes and products and service lines. And of course, science and innovation and any of the education and technologies around that. So I would encourage all of you and even those listening in to really start committing to some action and to try and get that action recognized. And through that, we're all joining together in collective sustainability leadership. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon from Bandung, Indonesia, UNESCO Creative City of Design since 2015. Thank you for the opportunity to represent Indonesia in Fusion 3, an event that connects cities from all over the world. Within the crucial issues of education, business, the culture, and creative sector. My name is Vicky Satari, Chairman of Indonesia Creative Cities Network, or ICCN, a hub organization that have connected creative communities and initiatives in more than 210 cities in Indonesia. Our network members share the same belief that cities are where significant changes can be made through creativity and innovation. We start by committing to implement our ICCN 10 principles of creative city, which include the main keywords of compassion, inclusivity, solidarity, innovation, collaboration, and local wisdom. ICCN aims to look into ecosystem of creative economy as a potential sector that will create future jobs. People in the sector tend to seek innovative solutions, are technologically savvy, and have interpersonal characteristics that are flexible and resilient. We hope that this short introduction of Bandung in Fusion 3 reflects our spirit on how creative endeavors can drive an awareness towards an inclusive and sustainable future. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Please, nice to meet you all. Introduce myself. I'm Hari Mawardi. I'm the Director of Kreasi Jabar, Creative Economy and Innovation Committee of West Java. And also I'm a designer and also a founder of Amygdala Bamboo. In this first picture, I want to show you a typical atmosphere or ambience in a workshop of craftsmen in Indonesia, especially a bamboo craftsman in West Java, Garut. Since 2014, I started my design approach called empathic design approach. As we can know, product is always made by these four aspects: maker, material, designers, and also market. But as we can see that designers nowadays have to be a bridge between the market, the material, and also the makers. The designers need to be very empathic, patient, and solutional, because bridging the stakeholders of the product is the main challenge in this business. So working side by side and involved directly with craftsmen or craftswomen through the whole process is important aspects to truly understand what design can do to help or enhance their values. Once I learned about Design Thinking 4.0 concept written by Elizabeth Pastor in Humantific, she wrote that there's nowadays, design is no longer just a strange making something unique or become strange by the common people. But now it's all about sense making. It's about making design making sense, because when we tackle a problem and it makes sense why we tackle the problem, then the unique image will become inevitable. So transforming crafts is actually is challenge, but make a sustainable business of it is another challenge. These are several new design to modernize the bamboo crafts in West Java. But to make a sustainable business of it, it needs to have an ecosystem that being made for the whole aspects, like I mentioned before, about the makers, about the market, and also about the materials, and also about the designers. And that's why I said yes when I'm being offered to become director of the West Java Creative Economy Committee, because I believe that a good ecosystem is also a good chance to grow our business, especially in craft and design aspect. So since 2020, we're being established as a committee governed by the governor, Djuanda, and we start doing some research about how can we create an ecosystem that being friendly to the designers, craftsmen, and also another creative economy actors. We're trying to make a heat map of creative energy in West Java, just to know which places or which regencies or which cities that being more creative than the others. It's not to make a competition, but it's just to know which places that need helps more than others, and also which places that can be a mentor or can be a bigger brother to help the other cities and regencies. With that in mind for the research and back to the basic of my background as a bamboo craft designers, we also tried to make several programs in several areas and villages in West Java, Indonesia. We started to create a workshop for the villagers in Kampung Lebaksiu in Bandung regencies, where the people there haven't got the ability for the craftsmanship like the bamboo craftsmen in Garut, West Java, but they have a lot of abundant resources of bamboo in their places. So we're trying to make some workshop about how to make mini bamboo that can be planted in the house, so it can probably equal the trend of Monstera nowadays during the pandemic. So this is something that we try to elaborate with the empathic design approach. And also in Desa Putra Jawa, in Kecamatan Selawi, Garut regencies, we also collaborate with the local craftsmen and the local villagers to make a Sunday market, which every week they will create a surprise market there with a lot of places being made by the bamboo, their expertise. And we also collaborate with other governments programs, such as with SMESCO in Grand SMESCO Hills in Bogor regencies, that probably in the next month, in several next months, we will create a program named Creator. Creator, we will trying to make several craftsmen, designers, and also crafts businessmen to have a capacity building to evolve their capacities through their business. And also the last one, we collaborate with a program made by Governor Ridwan Kamil called Patriot Desa or Village Patriot, which sending a lot of young people to a lot of village all over West Java, and then they try to help the local potentials, in those villages. So we try to help Desa Sirna Resmi village in Sukabumi Regencies, and help to develop their products. And all of this is because we in Kreasi Jawa Barat and also in Amigdala Bambu, we believe that being empathic is also being good for ecosystem to become a more sustainable creative economies, ambience, and also businesses. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from Bandung City. So now we are going to invite you all to do some interactive work, some interactive activities that we are going to do relative to the discussion that we are going to have. So I'm going to put a link on the chat box. It's easy to remember. It's bit.ly/f3bdg. Okay, and I'm also going to share my screen and look at what will you see when you go into the link provided. So yeah, this is a Google Jamboard, and you can add a new post-its into this board, so we can collect our ideas, brainstorm together, and have a little sharing session between all over the world, ideas all over the world. It's easy. So as you can see on the left toolbar, there's something that looks like a sticky note, that also called sticky note. So you can click the sticky note and you can write your ideas there. So the discussion that we are going to have is about how might we connect with nature to develop our skills for the future. So how might we connect with nature to develop our skills for the future? As you can see that there are already existing ideas here, such as learn from the philosophy of the nature itself, and also keeping our nature and environment clean. Then learn to take care of the nature the way we took care of ourselves and others. So have some empathy to the nature, so we can build our skills in empathy also towards others, or for the next skills in the future, because we need empathy to, connect better with others and build better relationships. Okay, I think Anna have a problem in connecting. It's okay. I'm going to have another links directly from the Jamboard itself, but you can copy paste it directly. Hope it works. So, build lightly on Earth. Another exciting ideas from all of you. Use only what we need. Yes. Learn to use only what we need. And that might be something that we could have a sustainable future in the next years to come, because, we are going to have work on what we are already have right now without hurting the needs of our future generations. Okay. So if all of you can use the bit.ly links, you could use the jamboard.google.com below. Replace what is taken. There is another great ideas from you. Use only what we need, but also replace what is taken. so we can be more responsible for our nature that has been supporting us until today. Journaling in nature and paying closer attention to our surroundings, to composting in a house, spend more time in villages. You can build empathy to the villagers and learn from them the wisdom of the villagers and what we can implement in the city. Maybe something nice, something cool. Inspire kids to value our biodiversity. Yes. So we can also learn later that we are diverse. We are diverse. We are different people, and then we can learn to build our empathy toward others to build more better connection. Replanting our trees, okay, keep it local as well as global, own less, keeping our nature and environment clean, use sustainable energy. I think we have 1 minute left. So if you haven't been put your post-its, you can do it now. And also you can revisit it later. So maybe you are going to have this session in your hometown or share this experience in Bandung into your own hometown and share what we've been doing in Bandung. And together, this is a discussion that how might we, as a citizen of the world, connect with nature to develop our skills for the future. Of course, in context of the vision skills that we are going to have. So, wow, it's cool, right? We have so many different colors of post-its and so many insights here. That's really good, really cool. So yeah, I think that is all. It's already 15 minutes and all the insights you've been given is really great. But even if this session will be closed, you can still revisit the links and read all the ideas that we have been put together. So thank you, everyone. This has been a great session, a quick but great session. Hope you are having a nice insight from this activity and see you next time.
Thanks very much. How do I follow that? I can't do something interactive like that. That's not fair. But thank you very much for this opportunity on behalf of the British Council to say a few words. And again, also to say thank you to Fusion and the City of London for this opportunity to have a conversation, because I think we had a conversation a few months ago and the question was asked, which city in Indonesia should be working on this particular project? Now, of course, I could have immediately said Bandung, but I would have got in trouble. I did mention Bandung and did introduce Tita, and there were some other cities. However, I'm very delighted to see that that it was Bandung indeed that has been the city of choice, and you could see why. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And it's the connections, I think, the connections that we all have, and across business, across culture, arts, education, that you could see on this call today, the different viewpoints, is exactly what we're all doing to address this issue of climate. But also, it is the International Year of the Creative Economy, and as you've seen, Indonesia is one of those countries that has signed up to it. They brought it together for this year as the International Year of Creative Economy and Sustainable Development. And I think the thing about Bandung is, and always has been, I worked there 10, 15 years ago, or with the British Council 10, 15 years ago, is that connection between the creative, the social, environmental. So many people working in creative businesses had a social issue, social passion they were working towards, but they also had that commitment to sustainability. And I think that comes through, that experience that Indonesia brings to bear, and Bandung particularly, can be brought to the rest of the world. And I think that is the connection and power of these kind of trips around the world, these city connections, and something that we too are looking to support as the British Council. So, for example, we've now just recently been doing a study of 14 cities in Indonesia, including Bandung, with the intention of bringing that knowledge of the arts and cultural connections in those cities back to the UK and start to build more connections between our two countries and find new ways of working together. Because we've all been digital for the last 15 months. I suspect that's going to carry on for some time, but there's been some incredible creative work going on, particularly in crafts and arts. And again, in terms of some, I think we may hear a little bit more from Sembilan Matahari, who's one of the organizations in Bandung, but we have a partnership with them, which is connecting them with Vietnam and Brazil. And they are developing a creative commission, particularly in the run-up to COP26. So how can we be a more sustainable approach to life? How can the arts bring that to life and get people to understand in those different ways? So from the British Council, it's great that we're able to be listening into this event today, but also to support beyond this, which is increase those city connections and increase the opportunities for young people to learn from those who have experience or even have something to share, whether it's in science, whether it's in education or arts and culture. We have a new program called the Climate Connection, which again is to support that COP26, which is really to build that network and give people opportunities to do research, to connect and to make differences around the world and show they can do something as we run up to COP26 in Glasgow in the UK at the end of the year. So thank you very much for this opportunity to say a few words. We again have always supported the creative economy. We'll continue to do so, and we'll have new grants and opportunities to connect UK and Indonesia coming up in the next 6 months. So thank you again to Anne and the whole team. It's been a pleasure. Have a good rest of the day and enjoy wherever you go next after here. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you for having us. Welcome to Hutan Menyala. Hutan Menyala is an innovative pandemic-era travel destination in the form of forest audiovisual experience orchestrated by Sembilan Matahari. Hutan Menyala transforms areas of Djuanda Forest Park into a walkthrough of dreamlike adventure featuring magical creatures and otherworldly inhabitants. Told in the form of allegory, this is a play for the consideration of our priorities in this day and age, a time where there is urgent need for ecological awareness and sustainability. Hutan Menyala Tahura Djuanda is asking us to take another look at the natural environment and our behavior towards it. More specifically, it wishes to highlight the significance of Djuanda Forest Park as a bastion for the greater Bandung natural ecosystem, which consequently underlines our interdependency and the importance of its conservation. This is an open-air, outdoor experience. In light of today's imperative health and safety requirements, we have taken certain preventive measures to ensure the well-being of our visitors. This type of experience offers a new breakthrough in pandemic-era tourism, one that is expected to become a model for healthy and safe tourism in West Java. It also shows how an event whose industry is most affected in recent years can still be well realized. In addition, this project has opened up employment opportunities for more than 100 local residents. These are the tales of Mount Sunda.
Yes, so we have seen a bit of the forest that is actually not open yet for public. It will be open this weekend onwards for another 3 months and hopefully longer. And so we get the privilege to see the sneak peek of it. Thank you all for having visited Bandung for this one very quick hour. And we hope that you get a good impression and looking forward to be able to travel again and visit each other's cities. Now we're going to move into our neighbor, Singapore, and you can find the link if you want to visit the cities next after this. And we thank you all and hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.